Hey, StoryMakers. I'm so excited to be here today with my friend Roger. This is such an exciting day. We have been waiting for the perfect moment to introduce you to my good friend, amazing artist, and wonderful minister in the gospel, to all of you guys here in Storymaker world. Hey, Roger, thanks for joining us.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. I'm thrilled. Anytime to get to have a conversation with you, this is great.
Roger and I met years ago, right before the pandemic, and he is, if you know Roger, he is warm, he's creative, and he gets really excited. And so we met briefly before we all went to a conference, and then he said, well, you should host like an art section at this conference. And it was so fun. We had the best time. And so Roger and I really got to know each other. We identified our Enneagrams because he and I both had never done that before. Right. This was the right time to do it. But there's so many things and so many layers to Roger. So you guys are just going to get tip of the iceberg today. Go explore, have fun. And, I love kids' books and I love adult books too. And Roger's got it all. So Roger, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? You have a bit of an accent compared to mine. Where are you from? And give us a little bit of a story.
Sure. I am, again, thrilled to be here. I am a Southern boy. You can hear it. My dad is an Episcopal priest, so I've grown up in the church all over the Southeast. We've lived in Louisiana, Mississippi, South Carolina, North Carolina, and I now live in Houston, Texas, where I am the director of children's and youth ministries here at Palmer Memorial Episcopal Church. I've been here about 10 years now, and I am married to my wife, Kristen. We're getting ready to celebrate our 29th wedding anniversary.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
I know. And we have a daughter, Riley, who is 23. And we have just sort of an atypical home. Riley and her boyfriend live at our house with us. And life is full. That's all I can say. That's amazing. So that's a glimpse of who I am. I do a lot of art and photography and writing, and photography is really a big love right now that I picked up over COVID, and it's just connected me back to the world, to the earth.
That's so amazing. Well, we love to talk about God's story being a long story. Yeah. And for so many of us in youth and family space, or, any of our professional lives, as we kind of look back at the layers that have been building over time, it's just amazing to see how God creatively works through our stories. And yours is so intriguing and I think just so creative. And you've definitely certainly have this creative call around kids, family, and art. I heard about Roger years ago after the Sandy Hook shooting, because you just showed up with art and a way for families to begin to sort of grieve and process and just process the whole experience of what that was. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Roger?
Sure. I had been dreaming of this. I love my grandmother's kitchen table. It reminds me, it's my first experience of worship. It's Eucharistic in nature. And when she died, that's what I wanted, her table. And so this has been bubbling in my mind, this whole idea about working with art to navigate these feelings that many people have that we often don't have words for. Mm-hmm. And then the shooting in Sandy Hook happened, and I received a call asking me to please come. That the Sunday school teachers in the Episcopal church right there in town lost one of the children in their community. And so the Sunday school teachers were having a hard time, of course, and also trying to navigate questions from children. And I certainly didn't have any answers. But what I did do was go and we painted together. We set up a room full of tables where all of the children got to paint together. We expected a small group of children. We had about 65 children and families show up that night. And it changed me. I say this often, but it changed me at a cellular level. This experience of engaging children in one of these places that there just isn't an explanation for. Mm-hmm. And if I tried to explain it away, then the mystery and the holiness would disappear.
Mhm.
So
It
yeah,
was just, yeah, it's so beautiful. The way that art can make it creates a space for you to be with someone without really having to think too hard or be with them. And then it
exactly.
allows for that presence of the Holy Spirit to kind of move. There's a healing process that happens. It's nothing you can really put your finger on quite exactly or in a systematic way. But I think that, yeah, that's a beautiful example of how that sort of how that does happen. And so that's how I began to hear about Roger. But then Roger, since that time, you have been an active agent of creativity, I would say. How many books do you have? You not only are creating ways for kids to understand who God is, creativity, the art of calm, how to navigate our feelings through words and visual language, but you're also ministering to kids on Sundays and
Yeah.
their families.
Yeah.
How does that all fit together in your world?
I have a good psychiatrist and a good therapist, and they help keep me together. But and a family who understands me. I have
Mm,
ADHD, and it plays out, and it was diagnosed was when I was in my 40s, and so once we figured out what was going on, I was then able to really channel all of this energy that I have in me, and
mhm,
so I do all of those things, and I think that in all the work that I do and working with children and taking pictures of birds and finger painting and all the things is I'm always seeking the essence of the holy.
mm,
And I think that's a gift. It's a grounding thing for me. It is something that I think I'm called to share with others. I have written 10 books now. I have 2 coming out next year, which is stunning to me. I dreamed of writing a book, and it was a book. I dreamed of writing a book, and and it has continued. And so I'm really enjoying that. I've said to Mel before, I sort of became this accidental grief expert, and I think what I took from that is that I was just invited to those places to make space, and the way that I know best how to do that is through creativity.
Yeah, no, it's so beautiful. I mean, there are no exact answers,
Yeah,
for everything. And, the process of the Holy Spirit and
yeah,
God's activity in that beginning place of where you're creating something or you're working alongside someone may be fleshed out 10, 15, 20 years from there.
yeah.
So, the kids that engage with you at that moment in 10, 20 years, who knows what that is going to end up looking like, which is so exciting. But yeah, I feel the same way about art. It just yesterday I just saw a exhibit with Jack Whitten from Alabama,
Okay, yeah,
and he talked about art being the compass to the cosmos. And I
yeah.
just said, right on. That's exactly
I
right.
love
And
that. I love that
and that sort of lends into like Roger's new book. I mean, it's not new probably to his brain, because when you publish something, you've done it a long time ago.
for
But
sure.
Roger has a beautiful book about baptism. And when I was looking at the visual language and the melody of the words that you have, it just is a flow into the cosmos, right? Like baptism isn't just this sacramental thing that you do in a stuffy church, but there's something cosmic happening in that. So Roger, can you just tell us a little bit about like what you were hoping to achieve in your writing and through the visual language around this book? And by the way, if you're getting a kid baptized or it's Pentecost, this is the book that you want, The Gift of Baptism.
um, I have always loved baptism. I love watching especially babies, being lifted into church. I love when they cry. I love when they fill their diaper. I love when they do whatever they do as babies. Um, but I think even more than that, for me, it's the community gathered. It's a reminder
Mm,
that we have this responsibility to be in community, to be a community that provides love and support and encouragement to these children and to these families. Why I wrote this book is because I've been observing a lot of families, young families, new families, sort of enter into baptism with some confusion and with just why is it important? What is the purpose? And for so many of these families, they do it because they were baptized, and there's a dress that the child has to wear, and then you get to,
you go to brunch.
You go to brunch. It's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to be so much more than that. I mean, for me, I was thinking about this, that it's our world is in a place where we need to be in community. And I think that baptism provides a wonderful visual opportunity for that to take place. And again, it's a celebration. This child won't remember it, but I will, and the parents will, and the families will, and the church members will. Maybe not the exact child, but they'll just remember being part of something holy and good. And so I also wanted to take it out of the church because I think God isn't just in the walls of the church. And so the pictures are diverse and shows children in every sort of form and fashion and way of being, and different looking households, and the colors are stunning. And it's just, everybody who looks at the books kind of says to me that it is unexpected. There are a lot of baptism books out there, and there are a lot of baptism books that I wouldn't give to anyone. And there are some amazing ones that friends of mine have written. I wanted something that wasn't cute. Like, I didn't.
No, it takes kids seriously. It's transcendent.
Yes, it's lush. Exactly.
It's amazing. I mean, I think if you're a young parent and you're not quite sure what it all means, you have this sense of like, oh, this is like a gift and a place that we're being pulled out to. I mean, I just kept thinking, oh, this is transcendent. This is communicating that this is just a promise and water. It's something other. And also my sense of it was that, we talk about in scripture that God knew us before we were in our mother's womb. And that was the sense I had. It's like, oh, you're invited into this world and place. Exactly. I've been thinking about you well before you were even born. Exactly. That was the feeling around. Well,
if you felt that, then I feel very happy about that.
It came across loud and clear. It was amazing.
The amazing thing is often when you write a picture book, you don't get to choose who the illustrator is. And I met this woman, as we've met a lot of people in the creatives. I met her on Instagram during COVID. Her work took my breath away. It just continually took my breath away. And her name is Claire Westwood. Check her out. But I wrote her and I said, I would love to do a book with you one day. I didn't know if she was a Christian, what she was. It doesn't matter to me. I think partly because it's a big story and I wanted to see if she would agree. She said, let's see what the universe says. And it took about 4 years to get to this point, and she did it. And she's now, because of this book, kind of rocking and rolling. She is now a little more sought after. So I'm very, very lucky to have her work. And
that's amazing.
She took my words, and and I gave her a little bit of what I envisioned, a little bit, because I wanted to see what she did. And there were no corrections.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Well, and you definitely got the sense. I mean, let me just tell you folks out there too, if you may be thinking, oh, is this going to be a little flaky? It's like, no, it's like rooted in a deep and
Mhm.
theological, I
Yeah.
will say. And it's in a melody. So that's the cool thing is the hooks in there. It's not flaky. It's really rooted in sort of the ancient
Yeah.
theological foundation of what we believe as creedal people. So I just want to make that note that really came across
Well,
too.
thank you so much.
It's not light in that
It's
kind of
not.
way.
It's not. I will say this: it's not a cute. It's not cute, and it's not one of those precious baptism gifts. It is really a gift that I think people can chew on. I have adults who are chewing on this book. I have adults who have re-entered the church because this reminded them of why they
They
wanted to
were
be
like, was this
remembered.
true for me?
Exactly, and so
I
you
didn't
know.
know.
The other piece I'll say just real quick is that it's based on the baptismal covenant, which I think is a beautiful set of words. And, it begins, the baptismal covenant begins, I believe in, God, the Father, maker of heaven. I believe in the maker of mountain ranges and mud puddles,
I just love that
and
so
then it
much.
just kind of goes from there.
It's amazing. Well, not only has Roger written this book, but last year you came out with The Art of Calm,
Yeah.
which I think if you're growing up out there and you're wondering how can I, integrate my mental health
Yeah.
and live a life that isn't I don't know. I think it's an amazing resource. So if you're struggling to figure out how to thrive in the world, this is a
Yeah.
great resource. Also,
Thank you.
you're just pumping them all out, Roger.
I am. And that one was really an unexpected book. I had a mental health crisis in 2017, and it took me about 6 months to be really able to get out of the bed. And so it was hard work. And then I found that it was a story that I think I could share with people, my path of these strategies and ways to navigate a world that isn't always kind to people with ADHD or anxiety or panic, depression, any of those things. And so it's really a special little project to me. And I love hearing from people who have used it. I especially love hearing from men who have used it because there's not a lot of resources out there like that. And I'm very open. I'm an open book about it. And so I think that's been helpful for a lot of people.
Well, what I love about Roger, everybody, is just that you have a way of having eyes to see. Not everyone is able to kind of look backward and see that God has been on the move through the hardships and the challenges and the beautiful things and everything in between. And so you have such a wonderful way of weaving your life experience, what you're doing in ministry, and integrating art, and it's evolving all the time, which is so special. You have an openness to that, and I think that that's just really special. Roger, as we kind of, think about Storymaker world and how we make meaning of the world through stories, we want to know, like, what are the stories that touched you as a kid or a grown up that really grabbed your imagination?
Yes, I was always a fan of Madeleine L'Engle. When I was young, one of the rhythms and routines of my life was my dad would read a chapter each night from either Madeleine L'Engle or C.S. Lewis, and we would get some of that every night. And then I had the opportunity of meeting Madeleine L'Engle. And
she's a Sunday school teacher, shout out.
Yeah, right there. And that was a dream.
St. John the Divine.
Exactly. There you go. So I got to meet her, and she was wearing a muumuu, and she was who she was. I was at Canuga, and she signed my book.
That's incredible.
Ananda is what she wrote in the book. And that word means the joy for which the world would fall apart if we didn't have it.
It's so amazing. I mean, she continues to capture our imaginations.
She does.
She's really an incredible person, or someone to read if you're not familiar. And she has all these wonderful books. I mean, my favorite book of Madeleine's is A Walking on Water.
Yeah.
It just speaks to me so much. Roger, and do you like as a kid, do you remember illustrator that you love that really captured you?
This is,
Or maybe even now.
Yes, now. I have one. I have an illustrator that I one day would love to maybe work with. There's a book called I Talk Like a River, and it's
Ooh.
by Jordan Smith.
Okay, I
And
don't know this.
he's a poet who stuttered. Who stutters in this book is stunning, and his illustrator, Sydney, and now I've gone blank. But notice the work; it is one of the most stunning. His work is like how I try to write. I think it is emotional, and it is sparse in a lot of ways. That's what a lot of folks will say. They're not a lot of words in your books, and that's on purpose. People think that it's easy to write children's books. Every word matters in a children's book. And so there's a lot of work that goes in that. But yeah, I Talk Like a River. If you need to check it out, folks ought to look at that. But that is an illustrator that just really gets to me. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, see, we all need inspiration too. I mean, I love what you just said though, Roger, about sparse and giving space. I think that that's also like a trust of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And trust of the imagination of a child. You're not trying to fill it up or have specific outcomes from your reader, other than like, oh, maybe you're going to play with that word, or maybe that's going to touch you in a way, and like allowing there to be space for that to interaction to happen and movement to happen.
Exactly.
That requires a lot of trust.
It requires a lot of trust, and it requires a great editor who says too many words, more showing, less telling, there are all those things. I think you make space, just like you said. You try not to wrap it up in a pretty bow at the end, because children can read right through that. And then they won't pick the book up again. And so, Yeah,
no, I mean, I will say this to everyone listening. Oftentimes, when people are writing for kids, they have adults in their brains. And Roger, when you read his books, he has kids in his brain, and you can tell, like, you just know there's a difference. It's a sleight of the hand, and it makes a huge, huge difference. I remember Roald Dahl used to say, when you write for kids, you have to forget the rest of the world.
Exactly.
And that's a practice in the whole process of the thing. So, Well, Roger, we're so excited for what you have coming out next. And just follow Roger on Instagram. You continue to evolve. I mean, in the time span that I've known you, were you in photography then? I mean,
No.
Yeah, it's like a whole new thing. And
I went outside. I went outside during COVID, and it was time for me to do something. And I carried a camera, and I started thinking about, I don't want to just look, but I want to see. And so that's my sort of what I try to do now, and all that I do. Not just look at it, but really learn and experience what it means to see.
That's an amazing note to end on. Well, thank you, Roger, so much for being with us. And friends, follow Roger on Instagram. Go to the show notes. Get all the books. You will not regret it, and your kids will love it. Lots of love to you guys. Thanks, Storymakers.